Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Quan Credible here, bringing you a video that I've actually always wanted to do, so I'm excited to finally do it. It's about grimoires in Black Clover. As far as we know, there's just these books that just kind of float around the magical users in the world of Black Clover as they cast spells. As far as grimoires go, though, we don't really know much about them. They're kind of just thrown into the series. All we do know is that at the age of 15, most people in the Black Clover universe go to a tower where they attend a ceremony to get awarded their grimoire. Outside of Asta, of course, well, he's the main character, so I'm pretty sure he applies to some different kind of rules. But for everyone else, they go to a tower to receive their book. Well, the only instance of this is in the first episode or first chapter, where we see just the master of the tower just send out all these books. But it looks like the books choose who their owner will be. With each grimoire knowing the potential of the person that it goes to, it makes sense that we've seen them in all different shapes and sizes, as well as colors, such as grimoires from the people of the Clover Kingdom always have some semblance of a clover on it. And in the one instance that we've seen mages from a different country, the Diamond Kingdom, we noticed that their grimoires had small diamonds on them. So if there are, just saying, a Spade and Heart Kingdom, it'd be pretty reasonable to believe that they'll have spades and hearts on their grimoires as well. Aside from that, we've also noticed that they come in different shapes and sizes, such as Rades, the zombie guy. Him. We noticed he only had one page in his grimoire, whilst other people we've seen had a multitude of pages, many pages. Even in the first episode, we've seen people, some had short grimoires, some had big ones, some had thick ones, all that stuff. While I also believe it is worth mentioning that each person's grimoire holds every spell that the user will ever learn or know. It's almost kind of crazy when you think about it that literally your entire potential or destiny as a magic user is all summed up in that one book. As far as obtaining new spells, though, they haven't really shown us much on that topic. As far as I'm concerned, there's probably only about 2 or 3 ways to get new spells added to your grimoire. The first of which, and most obvious, would be training. Obviously, the more time and hard work you put into something, the better you'll be at it. This is also implied when we see Yuno and Asta taking their time to train. Obviously, when Yuno got his grimoire, he didn't have any spells in it. He might have had 1 or 2, but we never got to see them. But then when we see him again in the Magic Knight exam, he has a multitude of spells. He has like some kind of wind blades. He has like a freaking tornado tower. He has tons more magic that he can use. And then when we see him again in the first dungeon, he has some kind of wind arc and all this other stuff. So yeah, definitely training would be a solid way to get more spells added onto your grimoire. The second of which, and kind of more obscure of the two, would be to get a new spell due to some kind of emotional trauma or near-death situation, in my opinion. Uh, as we see with Noelle multiple times throughout the series, whenever she's faced with a near-death scenario or do-or-die scenario, she typically will gain a new spell. Granted, this has only happened twice, but it's safe to say that this will happen again in the future. The last way to add spells to your grimoire in Black Clover, I feel like, is more of a special case. In the first dungeon, we see Asta find a new sword that goes into his book that adds another spell, being his newer, smaller sword. And the same thing for Yuno, he finds a wind spirit, which goes into his book as well, giving him a whole new page, being the wind spirit. Now, I feel like these are special cases because obviously most of the characters in the story aren't going to go out to a dungeon and find some type of magical being or magical item to give them extra spells. However, the main way I feel like most characters have beefed up their spell books would be just through training. With all of that, it's pretty reasonable to say that the grimoires somehow know, they choose. It's actually like they're connected to each person that they go to, as we've seen in the case of I'm gonna butcher his name, I already know I am. Fagolion, when after he got captured by Valtos' spatial magic and they had finally released him while he was laying there bleeding, missing an arm, we noticed that his grimoire was slowly fading away. So it seems like that if the user dies, their grimoire also fades away into nothing. With that being said, it's pretty safe to assume that if you happen to simply misplace your grimoire, or if someone steals it away from you, you would be unable to use any of the magic spells in your grimoire since you don't actually physically have it. Makes me wonder how come in none of the fights in Black Clover they don't just, I don't know, directly target the opponent's grimoire. I guess that probably wouldn't make for a good show though. Everybody's just burning each other's books. Yeah, that probably definitely would not make a good show. Anyway, moving on. That being said, I do hope that at some point in the series they do at least tell us where all these grimoires come from, since it looks like each one is personally made for someone. It's almost as if they have someone just writing them or making them. I don't know. I guess an origin story for them would be pretty cool. Let me know which grimoire you guys would like from the series below, or if you just have your own idea for one, I'd also kind of like to hear that too. That'd be pretty cool. Aside from that, if you guys like this, I'm going to try to do this a lot more. Just leave a like, maybe a comment. Subs are always appreciated. I guess I'll just catch you guys later.